name's Toby Uhlenkott. We run Charolais cattle here in Steptoe Canyon. Family has been here since 1950. We winter our cows on this place and then summer in Idaho. Bottom of the place is about 800-foot elevation and the top is 2,800 foot. It's pretty dry, rocky country and fairly steep. Very little ground here that's farmable. It's all grazing land. We were approached by the state of Washington and they had some concerns over the water quality here, and that led to us getting in contact with the Palouse Conservation District to try to resolve some of those concerns.
We really pride ourselves on voluntary stewardship, working with landowners who are interested in projects. So some of those come out of word of mouth, or producers coming in and asking for assistance, or the Conservation District knowing of different programs that may help a landowner. And again, it's all voluntary.
Brad was kind of spearheaded that whole process and partnered with Stephen Johnson at NRCS, and partnership between the two to fund the work that was done. Also worked with the Forest Service to provide some of the wood that was used to install those structures, and just all together, make everything come together to make it happen.
The Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program was put together in the state of Washington to fence off riparian buffers and try to alleviate some of the domestic animal direct access to fish-bearing streams.
How we work with producers is kind of a process. It always starts with the landowner and their goals. We're developing this conservation plan for them. So not only is Toby interested in things for water quality and habitat for fish, but he's got a working operation. He still needs watering for his cattle. He still is concerned about his actual pasture health and how he could get better forage out of that pasture. So Toby was able to do some riparian restoration on a lower segment.
Put a little bit of the stream into the correct program and built some facilities up on some of the hillsides farther from the stream. Just trying to give a little more buffer along the waterway through here. This canyon, being as steep as it is, has been fairly prone to having some floods during weather event, snow melt or thunderstorms both. And over time working on developing fences and trying to get water available so we can better utilize some of those areas that are farther from a water source. In the old days, you might say, before, when the facilities were down on the bottom, every once in a while you'd get a flood big enough to tear out the facilities, and then you'd have to reorganize and clean everything up and start over again. So having those facilities farther from the creek is helpful.
A culvert was removed, a bridge was put in place, a partnership with the Whitman County Road Department and the Palouse Conservation District and the landowner. And then in the stream we also put in some post-assisted log structures for steelhead habitat. And these structures are designed to mimic wood falling in the stream. We've put in 135 pals on this landowner's property, and he was here every day installing structures with us. And it's just exciting to hear when landowners start talking about meanders or in-stream habitat and doing things for fish, because really it doesn't make him any money at the end of the day. With the different programs that the district works with, we want to really make sure that not only are the natural resource issues addressed, but also unintended consequences for the landowners, making sure that a lot of this stuff we put in doesn't make their operation easier. They've got more things to check with pipelines and water development. So we really want to make sure that when we come through and do this, we're working closely with the landowner.
I've been working with Toby and Brad and conservation districts to do work in the stream, and last summer we had a fire roll through the canyon and burned up quite a bit of Toby's acres. So Toby was able to come to us and say, well, is there anything we could do to kind of help And we happen to have some fire recovery funds, and we're able to do an aerial seeding on this ground. This is rough ground. You can't get a drill in here to put new seed on, and you have this short window of time where things have burned, and before you start to get invasives move in on that burn range ground, this is the time to really hit it and help him establish that pasture that does make his operation profitable and viable. Because Toby did have this relationship with us, he was able to tap into us as a resource to help him with some of those burn issues. And actually, we have a close relationship with the conservation districts in general. If there's cows in the creek, we're not here to say, no, you shouldn't do that. But let's think about ways that maybe improve both that water quality and make your operation a better production for yourself. And we're able to be in this unique place that really is landowner driven in terms of addressing those goals for natural resources.
When a landowner is involved and invested as much as Toby has been with these Palouse projects, to be out here working with us and learning the lingo, learning the reason why we're doing it.
Water quality is something that we all rely on. Having improved not only water quality, but habitat for endangered species like salmon and steelhead. We're in this place, I think, where being voluntary and non-regulatory puts us in this unique situation where we get invited on people's lands to help them with their natural resource goals. They're the ones that are really making those steps to make the planet healthier and doing it in a way that also makes it viable family operations.
I intend for us to be here long term. Plan to pass this down to my kids if they're interested, and just trying to make this property be the best that it can be, and be good stewards of what we have here into the future, and hopefully pass this on to the next generation eventually.